Interview with Cobra from Russia, March 2017. Approaching the anniversary of the creation of a community and forum Divine Cosmos, and the Cobra has kindly agreed to answer questions from members of our Russian-speaking community, many of whom support the process of preparation for change. Question: Cobra, can you tell about a trip to Russia? Why did you decide to come there, and how you were able to negotiate with the military? In addition to flight into the stratosphere, did you do anything else there? Did you like Russia? Cobra: I came to Russia with the only purpose to make the stratospheric flight. Yes, I like Russia. People there are much less programmed and more connected with their true self than in the West. Question: Russian astronauts were telling that they were experiencing strange sensations on orbit. They've heard some sounds and even music, had some visions. The Russian Space Agency has created a committee to discuss this. Cobra: what so unusual astronauts could experience on orbit? Cobra: they had spiritual and physical contact experiences with positive extraterrestrials. Question: would you like to come to Russia again, and what do you need for that? Is it possible to conduct Ascension Conference in Russia? Cobra: yes, I would like to come to Russia again when there is a higher purpose to do that. Ascension Conference is a possibility. Question: there are studies that show that the Russian language and the Russian people are the oldest in the world. Is this true? Please clarify how the Russian people appeared, where the Russian people and the Slavs came from. Cobra: no, they are not the oldest. Slavic people originate from Indo-European branch of peoples. Question: who was Rurik, and how did he become the first governor in Russia? If this was the beginning of Russian statehood, or has it existed before? Cobra: Rurik was a Viking prince that adopted Slavic customs and united the Kievan Rus. This was the beginning of the Russian statehood. Question: Davidic had stated that the Queen of Great Britain and most of the kings of Europe, as well as some U.S. presidents, are all related to one reptilian bloodline. How about the Russian Tsars? Were they related to the royal line of the reptilians too? Please clarify the situation with this. Cobra: many of them, yes. Question: Cobra, do you know about the vast country of the Great Tartary? It is depicted on ancient maps, which existed on the territory of Russia in the 19th century, and extended from Europe to Alaska. When this country existed, how had it appeared and disappeared, and why do we know about it nothing? Cobra: despite all conspiracy theories, Tartaria is just a geographical term that describes the stretch of land between Europe and eastern Siberia, and not a name of a sovereign state. Question: there are stone structures, dolmens, situated across Russia and the Ukraine. Who had built them? What is their purpose? Cobra: they were built by Neolithic goddess-worshipping peoples then inhabiting the area. Question: what race built the Cheops pyramid in Giza? Is there a similar construction in Russia, and if so, where is it located? Cobra: Giza pyramids were built in the time where Egypt was a colony of Atlantis. There are some pyramid structures in Russia near Lake Baikal, but much less distinct than the Giza pyramids. Question: Mount Vodovara in Russia, its coordinates 63.077484, 32.622373, is considered a mysterious place with a lot of strange creatures, spirits and UFOs. What had the UNANERB and the KGB bring out from there? Is it truly a Star Trek portal, or does this place serve another purpose, and what can be located inside the mountain? Maybe it would be a good idea if ascension meditations are arranged there? Cobra, it was a portal into the Agartha network. Yes, you can arrange ascension meditation there. Question: why do enlightened people place a lot of attention on Siberia, Altai, and Lake Baikal? Why the Crimea is so important? What can you tell us about these territories that at present moment is withheld from the people? Cobra, Altai, especially the area around Balaka Mountain, is one of the main entrances into the Agartha network. Crimea is the location of an important goddess vortex. Question: how is it that the first decade of the communists' rule in Russia was run mostly by the Jews? Cobra, it is because Zionists have created communism by direct order of their Jesuit overlords? Question: was Joseph Stalin more of a positive or negative figure? Is it true that he took initiation from Russian magi, which helped him to revive Russia and win the war against Hitler? Cobra, Stalin was a Jesuit and one of the darkest figures of Russian history. He is responsible for deaths of many millions of people in Siberian death camps. RussiaPedia.RT.com/www.perdurabo10.net. Question: a high-ranking source of the USSR Ministry of Defense has recently admitted that Hitler has survived and escaped after the war, and there is evidence in the archives. If so, why Stalin did not pursue Hitler and let him live? Cobra, Stalin and Hitler were both working for the same master, the Jesuit Supreme General Lidachowski, organizing the Great Holocaust. Mission Galactic Freedom WordPress.com/ Question: since when the Soviet Union began to develop secret space program with US? Why Russian leaders have agreed with the US and decided to classify it, as well as information about aliens? Cobra, since early 1950s. Because of the threats of the Chimera Group. Question: does Russia have their own secret space programs and military bases on other planets and moons, as well as their secret space fleet? Cobra, they were part of international SSP. Question: in what year? And how the leaders of the USSR and Russian Federation entered into permanent contact with negative and with friendly aliens? What leader of the USSR did it first? Cobra, Khrushchev in about 1955. Question: to what extent the Soviet leadership in 70-80th was associated with Cabal or it was in conflict with? The Cold War was real or was it as a smokescreen to cover the real relations between the West and the East? Cobra, there was a lot of infiltration. The Cold War was engineered with mutual agreement from Cabal's agents on both sides. Question: how many underground bases of Cabal there are in Russia? Whether recently have some of them been destroyed, and if so, where they were located? Cobra, the Cabal does not have them in Russia anymore. Question: why and since when Putin decided to work with the forces of light? Do they help him with advice, or maybe even pass to him any special technologies? Cobra, he had a strong spiritual experience many years ago. Lately he receives direct tactical advice from Pleiadians who are visiting a secret Russian military facility in eastern Siberia. Question: if Putin is working with forces of light, then where are the representatives of Cabal hiding in Russia? In what areas they located? Does Russia have key figures of Cabal? Cobra, they are still infiltrated to a certain degree in all branches of Russian society. Key figures of the Cabal are not in Russia. Question: does Putin know about the resistance movement and Dagorda and how he built a relationship with them? Cobra: he knows about the Pleiadians but not about the Agarthans and especially not about the resistance movement. Question: had ever Putin and Medvedev personal physical contact with alien races? If so, what kind? And what for? Tell about it in detail. Why Putin did not reveal the presence of alien races and the secret space program to the inhabitants of the Earth? He could have done it. Cobra: Putin had contact with Pleiadians in 2014. Medvedev saw evidence photographs of actual Pleiadian craft. Putin cannot reveal that evidence directly because the Chimera would retaliate. Question: Benjamin Fulford and some other sources claim that Putin had previously been killed and replaced by a clone. Could it really happen? Do you know something about it? Cobra: that is not true and will not happen. Question: who needs a war in the Ukraine? Who organized it? What are the positive forces doing to stop this war? Lugansk and Donetsk. Cobra: the cabal Soros wants this war. The light forces are stabilizing the situation so it does not escalate in full-out war, and they have given tactical advice to Russian military how to take Crimea in 2014. Question: what is the true meaning of Catholicism and Orthodoxy? Why did Orthodoxy take root in Russia, and in the West Catholicism? And in what relations these two religions really were and are now with each other? Cobra: they are two factions of the Christian programming cult that split in the Great Schism of 1054. Orthodoxy took root in Russia simply because of proximity of Constantinople, which was the seat or the Orthodox Church. Question: what is the real meaning of church confessions and religious rites in the Orthodox Church, such as sacrament, when a person is given the body of Christ and the blood bread and red wine? And why so many people after visit a church feel the ease and inspiration, while for some it is hard to be there? Cobra: these rites originate in the rituals of the mystery schools of antiquity. Those who can connect to the positive spiritual side of Christianity and the message of Christ can feel inspired. Those who feel the negative entities that are present on the lower astral and etheric planes in most churches feel unbearable. Question: what Islam civilization has brought to people? Is Prophet Muhammad ordinary person or a being from another world? What mission is performing the Islamic world? Cobra: Muhammad was a prophet with a spiritual experience. This was later hijacked by the Archons and turned into another mind programming cult. Question: is there any breakaway Russian civilization in space? Cobra: there was, as part of international SSP. Question: do extraterrestrial civilizations speak Sanskrit, Sumerian or Akkadian languages? Cobra: no. Question: how many UFOs have been shot down in Russia, and from what alien races? Russian military and engineers adopted the alien technology. What exactly they adopted from them? Cobra: a few dozens. They have adopted technology from the Greys microchips and scalar devices, similar as in the US. Question: which of the secret technology you consider the most important and necessary for the disclosure to people in the first place? Cobra: free energy. Question: there is dissemination of information that the radiation is not dangerous at all. Is it true? Cobra: no. Question: whether exists superionized water, and what is its production technology? Is it possible to produce it with the current conditions of development of science and technology? Cobra, there are many devices that make superionized water on the market. Question: is it true that the ancient alchemists classified that mercury can be transformed into gold using the vortex flow and electricity? Is this possible? Cobra, no, mercury was an alchemical symbol in a spiritual sense, not the actual metal. Question: why is gold so valuable and where it disappears? Cobra, it is one of the rarest elements in the earth crust. Question: what is the impact of arachnoiditis, insectoids, reptilians on the earth? What species are dominant there? Cobra, reptilian race is one of the most damaging races in the universe. Question: is it true that on every planet of the solar system there are living sentient beings? Please make a brief overview of each planet and tell who lives there, what races are presented there, and the approximate number of inhabitants on each planet. Will we be able to see them after the event? Cobra, yes, there are living beings on every planet, mostly on higher energy planes, or in the underground bases. Most of them humanoid. Question: what can you say about the compacted white-silver grid or lattice, filled in all the space of the Earth? Cobra, you need to specify this question. Question: is the Earth a maximum security prison or a special school for the rapid growth of the soul? Cobra, it is a maximum security prison with archons and chimera as prison warders and definitely not a school. Question: were there 3 waves of volunteers in the 20th century, as claimed by the hypnotherapist Dolores Cannon? Is it true that in 2012 was formed the new Earth for mankind to pass at the time of the Ascension? Cobra, the intel from Dolores Cannon is partly correct. No, that is not true. Question: what are the plans of the resistance movement in regards of Russia? If someone wants to join the resistance movement, how he could do it? Cobra, the resistance will keep strengthening the alliance of positive forces within Russia in ways that are not to be disclosed. Nobody from the surface can join the resistance at this point. Question: what can be done by the Russian people to improve life on the planet, and accelerate the event to come? And what do you wish them? Cobra, just do the mission that you were born for. Victory of the light.